In this video, I'll be sharing what's worrying me on the side of Adrian Yanez. I was about to pick him with high confidence, but when I looked into this matchup, I saw a few things that scare me a lot with this one. So before you add Yanez to all your parlays, watch this video and make sure you at least take this stuff into consideration before you make your bets. So we'll start out by laying out my concerns with Rob Font and what he might be able to do against Yanez and why I think that, and then we'll get into what exactly Yanez needs to do to make sure that doesn't happen. So what is Rob's biggest and most used weapon? His jab and his 1-2 combo. Majority of his strikes are those exact things. He's not throwing knockout blows in every shot. He's just trying to keep you at bay, make sure he doesn't get hit and land and score on you. And a big attribute of Rob Font earlier in his career, not so much in the later ones where he's gotten hurt badly, was his ability to do this for the entire fight. He was able to go out there, keep his opponents at his range, maintain the range the entire time with his jab, and win the fight just like that. He would either finish the opponents because they couldn't handle getting jabbed and 1-2 pieced up the entire time, or he was coasting to decisions. Like on paper, stylistically, without the narrative included in this one, Rob Font, you could argue, should be the favorite. And this is why I'm saying that. Rob Font lands 6.38 significant strikes per minute and absorbs 3.95, and Adrian Yanez lands 6.62 and takes 5.49. I want to make it very clear, I'm not just looking at those numbers and going, oh, higher number equal Rob. No, there's a reason that certain numbers are like that. Like I said, Rob Font, he throws a lot of volume punches. They aren't always the most impactful. Adrian Yanez is trying to really hurt you and really cause some serious damage with all of his shots, right? So you have to take that with a grain of salt, those stats, but I still think it's very important to look at for this specific matchup. Font also has the reach advantage at 71.5 inches. Adrian's reach is 70 inches, so not a crazy reach advantage there, but for Font, a guy who likes to control distance with his jab, is going to be working a little bit in his favor. When Rob gets in a rhythm and he's landing on his opponents consistently, it's shown to give even some of the best fighters some big problems temporarily. Take a look at these two fights here. When you let Rob Font do his thing and he's able to control the distance, use his jab and his overhand right combo, and just work you, not allowing you to ever get your shots off, that's when he has the most success out of all of his fights. During the Jose Aldo fight and Marlon Vera fight, he was able to do this for a significant amount of time until Jose mixed in good wrestling to stop him, and Marlon was able to catch him with some crazy shots that just completely broke him down. And an example of what happens when Rob Font gets his way and he doesn't have enough shots coming back is his fight against Cody Garbrandt. And I want to make it very clear, Cody Garbrandt was a shell of himself in that fight, and I'm expecting Yanez to throw back way more often than Cody. But before that, Cody was known as like a high volume, decent boxer, decent speed and timing, not the best, but he was known to be quite the guy to get in there with. And Rob Font more or less shut him down for most of that fight. Cody just wasn't throwing back enough. I feel like they need to understand that Rob is not trying to KO them in every shot. So just take one and get in there and land your much harder shot. Watch the way Rob attacks his opponents and think of the numbers that I presented to you to sort of give you an idea for how long he usually does that for and what pace he does that for. This isn't going to be a big problem for Adrian Yanez, right? He's a striking beast. He's a huge prospect. He's a great boxer with KO power. Well, we have to look at round one of the Randy Costa fight. Randy Costa was giving Adrian Yanez all he could handle in this first round. He would not stop throwing jabs, 1-2 combos, body kicks, and he would never allow Yanez to get settled and get in his own rhythm, and it was starting to look like Randy Costa was going to run away with it. He literally went from being a massive underdog before the fight to being minus 245 going into the second. I know Randy Costa fought at an unrealistic pace for that first round. I think it's a much higher pace than even Rob Font will be able to bring this weekend, but those jabs and straight shots were giving Yanez some big problems. You see him landing at one point 50 shots to Yanez's 10, and Rob Font is a better fighter than Randy Costa. I know Randy Costa really presented some problems to Yanez specifically in that one area, but you gotta see it's a very similar way that Rob Font can go to inflict some damage. Bet you Team Font looked at that fight specifically and said, okay, well, we've been through some 5-round wars. We got a 3-round fight now. You're going to go out there and literally not stop punching for the entire fight with jabs, because look at what it did to Yanez and the problems that it caused him. The real story of that Randy Costa fight is as soon as Randy Costa slowed down and allowed Yanez to start finding his shots, the fight was over pretty damn quick after that. One of Yanez's gifts is the impact he seems to land on all of his opponents consistently as soon as he starts popping shots off. Whereas Rob Font, you'll see him have to pepper guys with a jab for 5 rounds straight before he's getting his finishes. Yanez doesn't have to do it for that long before he gets his. If Font's chin is somehow healed up over the last couple of years, I know he got the piss beat out of him by Cheeto just a year ago, but let's say he is coming in with a good chin and he can take Yanez's shot. Stylistically, there's a very clear writing on the wall for Font to sort of run away with this one in a 3-round fight. I think if it was a 5-round fight, it would be even bigger favorite for Yanez, though he hasn't proven to go 5 rounds yet. But assuming Yanez had the cardio, he would destroy Rob Font in a 5-round fight, I think. I just don't think Font is built for the 5-round battle. But in a 3-round battle, if he can hold up just enough, he has big potential to to make anybody who bets on Yanez be sweating their nuts that whole fight, because it might look like he's winning up until he's not. Yanez has finished 10 of his 16 fights by KO or TKO, and he's fought some decent competition on the way up too. He's on a 5-fight win streak right now. Momentum is definitely on his side. It's just stylistically he's going up against a guy whose whole game plan and lifelong career strategy is pretty much Randy Costa round 1. So has Yanez learned from that Randy Costa fight? I think he has, but that's something I want you to think about. So it's up to Yanez to make sure the jab doesn't get through nearly as much as that Costa fight did, and to strike at the same time as Rob, breaking his rhythm and hurting him. And once he starts doing that, I see Yanez running away with it. I thought, you know what, Rob's on the come down, Yanez is on the come up. Yanez is just as good a striker as Rob. That's what I was thinking, but when you really look into the way these two kind of match up, Rob's strengths, Yanez's weaknesses that has been shown, it really does look like Rob has a decent chance. So it's risky. All I'm saying is don't use Yanez on too many parlays. There's a big upset potential in this one, but let me know what you guys think. Am I crazy on this one? I assume a lot of you guys do pick Yanez just like I am. I still think he'll win, everything being said there, but let's say I was going to throw him on 8 parlays before, I'll probably throw him on 2. Hopefully it doesn't come to it, but if Yanez does lose, I don't want all of our parlays to die. We can give away a couple because we probably will win, but we can't use Yanez on as many as we were going to. Be safe when this fight card comes up. Bet smart. Let me know what you guys think of this one. I love to hear you guys' thoughts on my videos. I am so excited for this card. It'd be hard for you to find a bigger fan of MMA than me. So if you're a big MMA fan yourself, consider hitting that subscribe button. Come by and watch some of these videos because I think we have a pretty good time here. Love having discussion in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.